Okay, let's jump right into this explainer, where we're going to deconstruct the raw, unyielding psychology of world-class combatants and elite endurance athletes. We really want to understand what truly drives them. We're going to be looking closely at the exact words, the mindsets, and the internal dialogues of some of the most formidable individuals on the planet. Because, we're not just looking at physical strength here, we're mapping out the mental architecture of absolute dominance. We want to understand exactly what's happening in the mind before the bell even rings, while the body is literally failing and, maybe most importantly, when nobody else is watching.
I'm the best ever. There's no one can stop me. Just let that sink in for a second. When Mike Tyson says this, it isn't just your generic, everyday sports banter. No, it is an absolute, unfiltered declaration of supremacy. He follows this up by comparing himself to historical conquerors, stating flatly that his opponents are no Alexander the Great, but that he is. He aligns himself with absolute legends like Sonny Liston and Jack Dempsey, asserting that there is simply no one like him, no one who can match him. This right here is the unapologetic, adrenaline-fueled tone of the extreme athletic bravado we're about to explore. It's a mindset where self-doubt has been completely wiped out and replaced with an overwhelming, almost terrifying certainty of victory.
And that brings us perfectly to Section 1, the art of intimidation.
So long before any physical strikes are even thrown, the fight is often already being contested right there in the minds of the competitors. Now, you might think Mike Tyson's chaotic, rapid-fire pre-fight warnings are just wild rambling, but actually, look closer. It can be broken down into a clinical, calculated list of a conqueror's manufactured, godlike confidence. Look at the specific language he uses to describe himself. His style is impetuous, his defense is impregnable, and his execution is purely ferocious. He isn't just looking to win a technical contest on points, right? He literally states, "I want your heart." It's a psychological strategy specifically designed to make the opponent feel like they aren't just stepping into the ring with a man, but with an unstoppable, mythical force of nature. But here's the thing, psychological warfare isn't exactly one size fits all. On one hand, you have the visceral, almost terrifying aggression of Tyson. He's famous for phrases like, "I want to eat his children." It's chaotic, it's wild, and it is 100% designed to shock the nervous system of anyone listening. But then, contrast that with the chilling, calculated certainty of someone like John Jones. When he's speaking to his opponent, Daniel Cormier, he doesn't scream, he doesn't yell. Instead, he calmly promises that he will come at him, round after round, with malicious techniques. He systematically breaks down his opponent's hope by telling him, "I want you to believe it. Every ounce of training you put in leading up to this fight will be a waste of your life." Man, it is a completely different approach, cold, methodical, but it achieves the exact same goal of complete mental domination.
Let's move on to Section 2, winning as absolute duty.
So we're shifting away from the public spectacle now and moving into the internal drive that's required once that cage door actually locks. Take a look at a fighter like Khabib Nurmagomedov. He explains that he goes inside the cage, fights a guy, and when the guy taps out to quit, Khabib is genuinely confused. He literally asks, why? For him, the whole concept of surrendering is just entirely foreign. And why is that? Well, it's because of his internal framework. I don't lose, I win. That's my job. But it goes so much deeper than just a profession. He anchors this absolute duty to his family, noting that his mom took care of him and his two brothers all alone. He is fighting to make his dad proud, to honor his family's sacrifices. When winning is tied to your family's survival and honor, losing simply ceases to be an option on the table. It is a strict, unyielding duty.
So what happens when that sense of duty meets the absolute limit of human endurance? That's Section 3, pushing past breaking points.
We're transitioning into the crucible of the fight itself right now, that exact agonizing moment of pure physical exhaustion, where the muscles are failing, the lungs are burning, and those internal and external voices just have to take over. Because when the body wants to quit, the mind literally has to scream louder. Imagine the relentless, rapid-fire urging of a cornerman or an internal motivator like David Goggins, just demanding more from you. Carry the boats. You're going to do it. You're a man. Stand up and be a man. It's a complete and total rejection of weakness. It's this aggressive, commanding voice that leaves absolutely zero room for self-pity or surrender.
And the pacing in these moments, it is chaotic. The pure adrenaline of survival takes over. No, 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 my friend. What you're going to do now is you're going to get up. The voices demand focus. They promise that we're going to finish this thing, we're going to win, we're going to make it through. It is literally a verbal lifeline thrown to an athlete who is drowning in exhaustion, forcing them to push forward when every single biological instinct is screaming at them to just stop.
Get up, my friend. Get up right now. This is the final, visceral command of this rapid sequence. It so beautifully illustrates how elite endurance completely and totally rejects the body's plea to surrender. There is no negotiation happening here at all. The body is just an instrument, and the mind is forcing it right back into the fire.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is, survival is simply the active refusal to stop moving forward. It's making the active choice to stay focused. It's deciding that the fleeting pain of the moment is entirely secondary to the ultimate goal of making it through to the end.
But where does that superhuman refusal to quit actually come from? Let's explore Section 4, the unseen midnight grind.
All that public combat glory, it is forged in total solitary darkness. To achieve this level, it means deciding to abandon the distractions. It means rejecting the clubs, the parties, trying to fit in, and socializing just so people stop calling you weird. Which brings up a very direct, real question for all of us. Where do you find your strength? When the crowd isn't there cheering for you, when there's no opponent directly in front of your face to intimidate, and when there's no cornerman screaming at you to get up, where does the power actually come from? How might these extreme, elite mindsets apply to the everyday adversity that you and I face? And this brilliantly illustrates the answer, courtesy of David Goggins. He paints a picture of what he calls Groundhog's Day. It's 3 in the morning. If you look around, there's not a car or a person in sight. Everybody else is in their bed, sound asleep. And worse, they're dreading that it's a Monday. They hate that it's a Monday. But the conqueror's mindset flips this entirely. Goggins realizes that he extracts literal power from this exact scenario. He finds his strength right there on that empty, dark street. Because while everyone else is sleeping, dreading the start of their week and getting weaker, he is out there loving it. He is feeding off that collective hesitation. He's getting stronger specifically off the knowledge of others' weakness. It is an internal power source that literally never runs dry, because it relies purely on his own willingness to suffer when no one else will.
Which brings us to our final takeaway from this incredible source material. Stay hard. It's a simple, blunt directive. But as we've seen throughout this explainer, it's backed by an incredibly complex, calculated, and relentless psychological framework. From the overwhelming, intimidating bravado of Tyson to the chilling certainty of Jones, the familial duty of Khabib, and that midnight solitary grind of Goggins, true elite dominance is built in the mind first. So the question I'm going to leave you with today is this. When you hit your own personal 3 a.m., when everyone else is comfortable and asleep, are you going to find your strength in the dark, or will you surrender to the comfort of the crowd?